Aristotle writes, "Without friends, no one would choose to live, though he had all other goods." And what he's saying is that you can have everything and still not be complete without real connection. But that kind of connection asks something of you, and I don't sit in that, because pride won't let me lower myself for approval, even when I care. So, distance becomes my default. The moment something feels off, I leave, and if that keeps repeating, it only leads to two things: pride and isolation. Now, it's important to note that one of Aristotle's central ideas is that humans are innately social creatures, but more specifically, that the highest form of friendship is what he calls a friendship of virtue. A relationship grounded not in utility or pleasure, but in a mutual admiration of character, goodness, and a genuine desire for the other's well-being. And that kind of relationship is rare, because most of my relationships are rooted in utility or pleasure, and within those, I'm not entirely myself. I become kind of a hollow version of myself, performing rather than existing. Every person gets a different version of me, and it's just a mask adjusted to what I think will resonate with them. It's almost like a collection of fragments, presented differently depending on who I think I'm around. And dude, over time that becomes exhausting. Not physically, but on a deeper level, because none of that feels entirely real. And recently, I lost the one dynamic where that wasn't the case. There were these two people I was really close with, and with them, I didn't feel the need to perform, because I was very raw. I was allowing myself to be unfiltered and more honest than I typically am, and for a time, it was definitely mutual. But gradually, something started to shift. They began putting more of their time and attention in somebody else, and there was definitely less presence and engagement. There was nothing dramatic, nothing you can clearly point to, but enough to feel it, enough to recognize that something wasn't the same anymore. And look, I'm not someone who needs constant attention, right? But I noticed changes in energy. So I said something. I made it clear what I was seeing and what fell off. And nothing changed. And I find it almost amusing to think about, because at that point, the situation becomes simple. Either you keep trying to hold on to something that's already slipping, or you accept it for what it is. And I'm not going to sit there and convince someone to value something if it's not being returned. And so I step back, impulsively. And that distance builds, slowly, almost without effort, until you're no longer really present in the same way, until, for all intents and purposes, you're gone. But what complicates it is the reality underneath it. I was hurt. And more than that, I was ashamed of being hurt. Ashamed that something external could affect me like that. That it could get through whatever control I thought I had. Instead of confronting that, I removed myself from it completely. And the irony is that they're not even bad people. I'm sure they noticed, and there were moments where they actually left space for me to say more, to re-engage and to try and fix it. And I could have, but I didn't. I chose isolation. And that's what makes pride so strange. Because on one hand, it convinces you that you're maintaining self-respect, that you're holding a standard and you're refusing to lower yourself. But at the same time, it exists alongside something much more fragile. And holding both of these at once produces a kind of internal contradiction that doesn't resolve. A concurrent elevation of self and a quiet fracture beneath it, where what presents itself as strength is inseparable from what it's trying to conceal. In the past couple of years, my insecurities have become more pronounced than before. I don't fully understand where they come from, but I've developed an acute awareness of everything. Every comment, every shift in tone, every small action, I register it. Because of that, I end up reading into things more than I should. Nothing really feels neutral anymore. Even small things start to feel significant, like they carry more meaning than they probably do. And I don't really know how to filter that. So, my way of dealing with it has been distance. I just remove myself from the people who make me feel that way. It's just really confusing to me because I know none of these people are malicious, and they're not trying to hurt me. These are people I actually valued, people I was close to, but because I care so much about how they see me, what they say carries weight. Even when it's a joke, even when there's no intention behind it, it still affects me. And I don't leave much room for mistakes. Once something crosses a line in my head, it stays there. There's no real forgiveness, there isn't a reset, my pride doesn't allow that. Isolation is an endless hole. And it's as if I'm isolating myself as a form of punishment toward people who don't even know they did anything wrong. My pride convinces me that I'm so important that my absence from their lives should be some kind of consequence, something they'll feel, something that will matter to them. But it doesn't, it only affects me. They're the ones who are fine and who are happy, and I'm the one left sitting in it. And that's what doesn't make sense, because I hate isolation. I don't want this, so why do I keep doing it to myself? My mind can make all these logical connections. I can see exactly how it happens, step by step, but even with that, I can't seem to stop it. It just keeps happening, like I'm actively participating in my own self-sabotage. And I think the only real conclusion I can come to is that things just end. Not everything resolves itself. Not everything closes in a way that feels complete or even understandable. Sometimes, something just loses its meaning, or its place, and that's it. And I think I've been expecting more than that, like there's supposed to be some kind of resolution, some clarity that makes it all make sense in the end. But there isn't. Sometimes you're just left with the absence of something that used to matter. There's no real transformation here. I'm not past it, I'm not better because of it, I just feel it. And it's not even dramatic, it's just constant, it sits there. And the part that makes it worse is knowing I played a role in it. Not the sense that I caused everything, but in the way I responded to it. I chose distance. I chose to remove myself instead of staying in something that felt uncertain. And I could justify that. I could say it was self-respect, that I was maintaining some kind of standard. But at the same time, all I'm left with is this. And that's the contradiction. Because what I'm holding on to as strength is the same thing that's keeping me here, alone, sitting with something that doesn't resolve. And I don't even know if there's supposed to be anything at the end of it. People talk about how there's some kind of light, some kind of point where it all shifts. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. I don't know. All I know is right now, this is it. Things came to an end. And all I have left from it is how it feels. And that doesn't go anywhere.